Hi friends, my name is Jenny and I'm back today to do another video. As you can see from the title of this video, this is going to be a weekend vlog. I was originally planning to vlog this entire week as it is Thanksgiving week. I've had the whole week off of work. However, I started a vlog on Sunday evening and then didn't vlog for 4 days. So now it's Friday, November 27th. It's my little sister's birthday today. And we're just going to start again with just a weekend vlog of today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and potentially Monday to just get us through the end of November. I am thinking about potentially trying to do a vlogmas of sorts, or at least a vlog every day and then do weekly vlogs posted probably on Sundays, but I haven't fully committed to that. So if you don't see that happen in December, you'll know that I gave up on that project. So this is just kind of a test run, plus also I just wanted to do some vlogging as vlogging is fun, although I do have a fair amount of stuff to kind of finish out and work on this weekend. Primarily I need to work on my grad school applications. The first deadlines are December 15th, and since this is like a nice time off from work, I want to get a lot of that work done. Also, you can see my little cat in the background. Oh my goodness, he's giving himself a bath, so we'll let him have his privacy. But I need to kind of finish out the personal statements for all of those applications. I was working on them earlier in the week, but what day was I even working on them? I think I was working on them on Sunday, and then the week really got away from me. I was gone picking up my little sister from college on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday was Thanksgiving prep and also a panic because I left my wallet in the rental car that we drove to pick her up in, but luckily I should be getting it later today. I'll definitely keep you updated on that. Then obviously Thursday was Thanksgiving. I was head chef, so I did pretty much all of that. I'll insert a couple pictures so you can kind of see what I made, but it was a pretty traditional kind of Thanksgiving fare. We have done like an immediate family Thanksgiving for the past several years, so it really wasn't that different for us, although I guess technically both my sisters did travel to us, but they're staying through the New Year, so we decided that was okay. And also my mom recently took a COVID test, my little sister recently took a COVID test, and then my older sister has been pretty isolated in her studio apartment in DC. So we felt pretty safe about all of that, but that's kind of what's been happening here at the Rogan household. But aside from my grad school apps, the other thing I really want to do this weekend is reading, as I really fallen off the reading bandwagon, I would say. I think I've only finished 6 books this month in November. It's been a very busy month with work stuff and also like thinking about preparing for the holiday season and thinking about grad school apps and kind of getting back in that mindset. So I've not been doing a ton of reading, but I am reading an absurd number of books right now. I think I'm reading 8 if I remember correctly. So we'll just go through those now and I'll kind of tell you which ones I'm hoping to potentially finish before the month of November is over. We'll see. I probably won't finish most of them. But the first one that I'm definitely hoping to finish is Revolutions by Hannah Ross. I talked about this one in my nonfiction November TBR, which I'll put a link to up in the cards above. But this is a history of women cycling, primarily a history of like women's rights activists and their like relationship with cycling. And it's pretty interesting. It's okay. I do think it has a pretty Western lens, which I don't love, especially since in kind of the modern 21st century there's a lot of non-Western countries that cycling is a very prominent mode of transportation, and I feel like we have not focused that much on like China, for example, where cycling is hugely popular and hugely important to people's like ability to mobilize. So that's something that I kind of wish this book did a bit more. It is pretty UK focused. Hannah Ross is a British based author, and so that makes sense, but I just don't particularly love that part. But I'm finding it interesting. I think the history of the actual bicycle is also pretty interesting in terms of how the bicycle was made at different points throughout its history. And I'm about a little more than halfway done, and then obviously since it's a nonfiction book, there's a solid chunk that is just like notes and stuff at the back. So I definitely think I have the potential to finish this before the month is over. I believe the month ends on Monday. I can't quite remember. It's either Monday or Tuesday. So I'm definitely hoping to finish this one during this vlog. Then all the other ones I likely will not finish, so we'll just kind of go through them in a random order, I guess. The next one is one that my dad and I were listening to as an audiobook on our road trip to pick up my sister, and it was really interesting, except every time we like were eating, like I was making sandwiches for us to eat, we got into like a really intensely like gruesome, very descriptive like exploration of some like 18th century disease that people had, like yellow fever or typhus or something. And so that was an unfortunate like aspect of this book in terms of trying to eat lunch at the same time. But otherwise it has been super interesting. David Hozek is an 18th century botanist and physician that was living in, as it says in the subtitle, the early republic, and he was a pretty fascinating guy that I had never heard of. He was a close friend of Hamilton and Burr. In fact, he was actually there at their ill-fated duel in 1804, so that is quite interesting. And yeah, this is a really well researched, pretty engaging book, although it is pretty dry. But honestly, I think that's kind of true of most biographies. Like, people's lives, just like, even if you are a really fascinating person, sometimes your life is just like not that interesting. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about this one, and I do think I'm going to continue it on audiobook, but my dad and I are going to listen or read it separately now that we're no longer on that road trip. And we did get about, let's see, we got about 90 pages into it. So, and there's maybe like 330 pages to go, so I don't think this one will be finished before the month, almost definitely not, but I am hoping to finish it before the end of the year at the very least. That's kind of true of all of these books. I will finish them much closer towards the end of the year than the end of this month of November. The next one is one that I'm really enjoying so far, although I've only read about 38 pages, and that's The Shadow King by Massive and Juste. This is my December pick for my African Ruin Writers Project, and I actually will be joining Courtney and Lindsay, who both have booktube channels. I'll put them in the description box below. They do a like book club with some of their IRL friends, and they invited me to join because this is their December pick, so I'm super excited about that as well. I think this will be a great book to discuss, and yeah, I'm really enjoying the writing style quite a lot. I'm very intrigued to see kind of where the plot goes. It's set in a place in a time period that I know very little about. I am not particularly interested in World War II, but I do think this European centric lens on it may be really fascinating. So there's that one, and then the rest are in my tote bag, I think. The next one that I've just started but do want to read the first part of this weekend is Emer Kenny's Stamp from the Beginning, The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America. This, as it says on the subtitle, is a history book about racism and anti-racism and how the two have kind of tagged along with one another throughout our history in the US. So I'm super excited about this one. We'll be reading the like Cotton Mather section over the course of this weekend, and then reading one section probably each weekend until the end of the year. So that's this one. It's quite a chunkier as well, but I'm super excited about diving into that. Then we also have Walkable City by Jeff Speck. This one I've also read about 50 pages of, and this is a nonfiction book about urban planning and the importance of walkability when designing cities and urban spaces. It was published back in 2012, and it does have a little bit of like early 2010 vibes, early 2000s vibes. There was just an interesting chapter on like rates of walkability in an urban center versus the percentage of people who are overweight, and there was some kind of like weird phrasing of like obesity that I didn't particularly love, but I think that was in part due to both the kind of way that the research was being discussed and also the way that the research discussed obesity. So I think it was fine. It was just like not my favorite thing, but it was published several years ago, so you know that happens sometimes in nonfiction books. But I do find this really interesting, and I'm excited to kind of see what his solutions are in terms of increasing walkability in urban centers and how like what urban planners can do about that. So that's that one, enjoying that. And then I also have one that I'm reading for a like secret project that I'm very slowly working on, that I'm not going to tell you what book it is, but I'm like 150-ish, 130-ish pages into this one. Very slow going, but intriguing so far. And then on my Kindle, I'm also reading Kink, which is an anthology published by Random House, I want to say. I'll correct myself if that is not the case. I meant to look that up before I turned on the camera, and then I forgot. And this is an anthology that I got through NetGalley that's coming out in February, I believe. That, as it says on the title, is a bunch of short stories by a bunch of pretty well-known literary authors. Brandon Taylor is in here, which is the primary reason that I requested this anthology. Roxane Gay, Garth Greenwell, Aro Kwan, and Alexander Chee, and then a few lesser known authors as well, all exploring kinky sex, BDSM, whatever you want to call it, and kind of the ways in which that is a form of communication, which I think is an intriguing idea. I don't particularly love any of the stories so far. I did find, I think Alexander Cheese was interesting, and the very first one, who I believe the author was Melissa Phobos. I'll again correct myself. But yeah, not being blown away by any of these stories necessarily. I do think it's hard sometimes for literary fiction writers to write effectively and meaningfully about sexual interactions. That is something that I think literary fiction writers often struggle to do, because it is very hard to write about sex, and sometimes it just is weird. It's a weird thing that you've just said. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about that one so far, but I am going to continue with it and potentially finish it before the month is over. And then obviously I'm not going to get it out, but I am reading New Daughters of Africa. I think I have about 170-ish pages left to go, so I'm in the final stretch of that one. I'm in the 1980s, I think, in terms of when the women in that section were born, because that's how the book is split up into the decade in which the women were born. So I just made it through the 1970s, which was one of the larger sections, and now I'm in the 1980s and then the 90s. So it's fun to see a lot of these like younger voices who hopefully will have like a career that is trackable in the future. So I've enjoyed the first few that I've read. One was Candace Carty Williams, who wrote Queenie, which is potentially one of my favorite books of the year. Really enjoyed that one. And now I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna go do some Christmas wrapping paper shopping. I'm gonna go get my wallet, work on grad school apps, probably do some reading, and check in with you in a little bit. Hi everyone, so I'm on a walk, as you can see. Hopefully this will not be too like shaking terrible. I guess I could stop moving, but I don't really want to. So as you can see, I'm on a walk. It's about 4 p.m. today, Friday, the same day that it was previously, and I have done a fair amount of stuff today. I did recover my wallet from the rental car company, which was great. He had it, and he knew who I was, and that was all good. Everything's like in there, so will not worry something there. And then I also put in a little order at Paper Source for some like holiday wrapping paper and for some cute cards I'm going to be sending out with some of my friends' Christmas gifts. And they had like a curbside pickup option, and then it was ready like literally 10 minutes after I placed the order, and I was like, okay, I could have really just gone to the store, but I had like a little 10% off coupon by ordering online, so that was nice. Also, you can see the little complex that we live in by me doing this. But now I'm out on a walk. It's about 5 o'clock, and I wanted to walk before the sun sets, because since it's, you know, almost winter time, sunsets at like 5:30, and it's already pretty clouded over. I can kind of see like the sun starting to set over there, so you're able to see the sunset. But I also wanted to show you some of the leaves as well, because it is finally fall here in Atlanta. It usually doesn't take, you know, it usually takes about this long, late November, for the leaves to actually start changing pretty significantly. So it's been nice to see all of that. Oh, there's some trash cans. And yeah, what else have I been doing today? So I will show you the wrapping paper when we get back, and then I think I will give you a little reading update. But for now, let's just enjoy some nice fall weather. So you can see the sunset is like over there somewhere. We might walk over there in a little bit. There's a car, yay. But then also, there's some like nice fall foliage over here. I mean, it's kind of gloomy and dark outside, so it's not the best. But fall colors are really my favorite to look at, so a little good fall walk. The sunset is too far down below the buildings to be able to see it, but you know, that's fine. Hopefully it won't get dark on me as I'm on this walk. But I did also want to say, because I'm listening to Pentatonics while on my walk, that I am a huge Pentatonics, let me straighten you out there, I'm a huge Pentatonics Christmas music fan. It's an integral part of my personality, I would say. I listen to it basically from now, like the day after Thanksgiving, until like January like 8th. You know, I really stretch it out, just because I love Christmas music. It's my favorite type of music by far, but I just love Pentatonics. Like, they are so good. They have like 500 songs that you know, every Christmas song you could ever want, they've covered. And they do an album every year, so you're just constantly getting new content. So we've gotten the new one for this year, 2020, and you'd think it'd be good because, you know, we all need a little Christmas. That's actually its name. It's like we all could use a little Christmas or something, whatever song that one is. And it's just bad. Okay, I'm back now. There were several families that just like appeared out of nowhere, and I had to be away from them. 1, because I'm like literally talking to my phone, and 2, because of COVID-19. So anyway, I was saying about the new Pentatonics Christmas album. It sucks. It's not good. They have Once Upon a December from Anastasia, which is probably the best one. They also have like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which like is fine,
but it's not really what I want. You know, I want the boppy Christmas jams, and they just didn't provide that to me during this time when, like, now more than ever, I need the Christmas spirit. So yeah, was not loving that. Do love, though, that all the people in my neighborhood have great signage here, especially because I think the neighborhood that we live in now probably did have a lot of people that voted for Trump in 2016. And this year, they were like, we're not going to do that again, which, you know, I appreciate. Yeah, it's not a good jam. I have to kind of speed home now because my mom wants to have me say hello to the family that's on Zoom. And so I'm going to probably do that. So I will catch in with you once I get back home, and I'll give you a proper reading update that's not just about Pentatonic's Christmas albums. And also, we'll show you the wrapping paper that I acquired, because I think that'll be fun. Hopefully you can't hear that lawnmower, leaf blower, whatever it is in the backyard. Okay, bye! This is so pretty. Look at that. Gorgeous.
So it's now Saturday, November 28th. As I was preparing to start filming again, I realized it was my childhood best friend's birthday. So I texted her just now, which is exciting. It's already about 3 o'clock. I'm not really sure what all I've done today. I went to a community garden to compost our pumpkins from Halloween. I went to get some more coffee beans, and then my family and I did the New Yorker crossword and then the Atlantic crossword, and that took us a very long time. The New Yorker one was very hard. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing today, and then a little bit of work on my grad school apps and like responding to some emails and stuff, which I am going to continue doing probably after this. I might also take a nap, we'll see. The rest of my family is watching a TV show right now that I don't watch, so that is what they're all up to. But first I wanted to show you the cute things I got at Paper Source yesterday. The first of which is this cool wrapping paper. I'm gonna try to put like insert a little clip here of it because it's really pretty. That is actually made of stone, which is really cool. So it's a byproduct of the mining industry, so it's not made from trees, which is exciting. So it's kind of more eco-friendly. I was reading an article in Slate about it, and apparently it's not like the most eco-friendly because it is, you know, mining. Obviously it's not very environmentally friendly, but if it's a byproduct, then that usually means that it would be going to waste. So instead it's being made into this wrapping paper, which is cool. And apparently the publishing industry is starting to look into like stone paper as an alternative to tree paper, which is exciting. And then I also got these super cute holiday cards that I'm going to be sending along with my gifts to my friends, just because I got them all a like pretty small little gift, but I think I'm also going to each write them each a personalized note on these cute little Christmas tree car cards. I love seeing people driving around with their Christmas tree on their roof. It's just like one of my favorite parts of the holiday season. And then last but not least, we got more just like tag stickers for presents, just because we needed more of those. I'm sure I will show all of my other fun Christmas things that I have because I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday by far, and I just love getting into the holiday spirit, as you can see from me talking about Christmas pretty incessantly already in this vlog, and it's only late November, so that's exciting. But yeah, super excited about all that stuff. It was from Paper Source. They're having a sale because it's Black Friday weekend, so that was exciting. If anyone is interested, I can let you know what products they were down in the description box below. That sounds like a fun thing to do, so I will do that, and I think I will get to reading. I don't think I have too many, I'm trying to think, reading updates for you. Oh, one thing that I was thinking about was that I was reading Stamped from the Beginning yesterday, which I'm still really enjoying quite a lot, and I think what is super engaging about this book is that, well, I mean, one, Kendi's just a phenomenal writer, and he writes so clearly about kind of the ties of very complex ideas in a really cohesive way, which I appreciate. But also I think he will continue to point out the ways in which people in history did not all have the same perspective on like what was morally right and wrong. Like there were people in as early as the 1500s who believed that enslaving people was morally wrong, and that there was nothing, you know, there wasn't any reasoning that was actually sound as to why people were allowed to like be enslaved and owned by other people. So I thought that was really interesting. There was a priest who originally was advocating for like indigenous people in America, and was like, these indigenous people in America should not be forced to work, and that actually caused then many enslaved Africans to be brought to the Americas and started the African
slave trade within the Americas, which obviously had huge negative repercussions for the United States as well as the greater Americas in terms of race relations. But I did find that really interesting that it started because one priest was like, we can't enslave these native people, but the Africans, it was okay. But he later did say that he regretted that. So I just thought that was interesting, of kind of reminding ourselves that people like Christopher Columbus were not seen as like normal for their time. Like Christopher Columbus, as we continue to decolonize history and understand the other voices of history, we come to terms with the fact that Christopher Columbus was seen as a bad person even during his time. And so the justification of like something being right for its time or something being appropriate for its time is never really valid, because there were always people pushing back on those ideas even during that time. And the same is true kind of on the flip side of even people advocating for social mobility and civil rights often had views that are very different than how we think of those issues today. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I think that will continue to come up as it's a very important aspect of history, but that was my main update. I've not really read that much of any of my other books, so I'll check in with you in a little bit. Hi everyone, so it's about 4:15 on Sunday afternoon now. I was planning originally to have a much more productive day in terms of reading than I actually have. I pretty much have spent almost the entire day looking up 2021 releases that are coming out and preparing for a lot of that content about, you know, anticipated releases for the first couple months of the year, as well as like bigger releases that I'm super excited about throughout the year. So I've been working on that for like several hours now, which is a really exciting thing. Like that's part of my like book loving hobby, is keeping track of that type of stuff. So it was a really fun activity, but it definitely took a lot of time, and now it's pretty late in the afternoon. It's also quite a rainy day here, so that is also making me want to just kind of curl up on the couch and do nothing. So that's been fun. But I do think now that I have taken a shower, I am gonna buckle down and finish this Revolutions by Hannah Ross. I have about, I think like 70-ish pages left. Let's see, we're gonna do some quick math here. Yeah, a little, actually it's closer to like 100, but I think that will go pretty quickly, as this book has not been taking me all that long to read, and I do want to finish it today because I'm ready to be done with it. So I think I'm going to make a meal plan / grocery list first, and then I will dig into that. So I'm going to continue this vlog into tomorrow, so it's kind of a like end of November vlog. And tomorrow I definitely am going to be doing some like bullet journal revamping for this end of the year time, because while there's not a whole lot like happening in the external world in terms of like Christmas holiday stuff and end of the year stuff, there is kind of a lot of things that I want to accomplish, both like personally related to like grad school stuff, which I was very productive on yesterday, which I'm feeling very good about, but also then like booktube stuff. There's a lot of videos that I'm hoping to make at some point during this holiday season, and I kind of need to plan out when I want to do all of that stuff. So that's going to be something I do tomorrow after work, or potentially even start during work tomorrow. We'll see how wild the kids are after their week away from school. So that is kind of my plan for tomorrow and the rest of the evening. I do feel like there was something else I was going to tell you, and now I don't even remember what it was, but if I do remember, I will let you know. Hi everyone, it is Monday afternoon, about 4:30, and I figured I would come and end this very hodgepodge of a vlog. Sorry, there was not a whole lot of reading content in this vlog, in part just because I've been kind of in a weird like reading situation. I mean, I have been reading, but I think reading so much nonfiction in a single month has kind of worn me out, and it's just, my brain feels very full. But I'm excited for December. I just was updating my bullet journal, as you briefly saw in that little clip, and so I'm excited about some of my kind of video plans and reading plans for December. I think it's been a big reading month, so I'm hoping that I am feeling very motivated to read. A lot of my reading actually just has to be finishing all the absurd number of books that I have on the go at the moment, and since I'm not planning on doing a December TBR, I don't think, just because there's not that many books that I'm going to read that I want to tell you about right now. There is going to be a project that I'm working on related to the Reading Moment Challenge towards the end of the month that I'm going to have a special vlog for, so look out for that towards the end of December. But yeah, all the books that I'm reading right now are the ones that I will kind of be prioritizing throughout the month. So just as a reminder, as you've seen throughout this vlog, those include The Shadow King by Massimo Juste. I'm about 50-ish pages into this one and really enjoying it. Super excited to continue reading this, and will be joining Lindsay from Lindsay's Book Life and Courtney Farrer. I'm not entirely sure how you say your last name, Courtney, but Courtney, I will put a link to both Courtney and Lindsay down in the description box below. Their book club is meaning about that book, and it's also my African women writers pick, so there's that one. I also will be finishing American Eden, David Hosick, Botany and the Medicine in the Garden of the Early Republic by Victoria Johnson. This one I was listening to in the car with my dad on our little road trip in the first half of the week, and then I haven't looked at it since then. Then we also have another book I've not really looked at, which is Walkable City by Jeff Speck. That one I will be reading throughout the month, as well as Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram Kendi. And then 2 Kindle books. One is a collection of short stories from a bunch of different authors called Kink, which I will be continuing to read. The story's been okay, not great. And then I also just started Aria by Nazanin Hozar, which was an arc that I received back in the summer, and it came out back in August, and I didn't get to it, so I want to get to that before the year is out. And yeah, those are kind of my reading plans for the next couple of weeks. So I will continue to vlog during the month of December. However, I am going to do a first 2 weeks of December vlog, I think, just because of how my reading is kind of hopefully pan out. I think those 2 weeks will be pretty similar in terms of the books I'm reading, so it will make more sense to combine them into one vlog. And also I will be busier because it is still regular work time, and also I'm working on my grad school apps and finishing those up in the next 2 weeks. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I hope you are having a wonderful time back to work today. If you went back to work after a Thanksgiving break, it was definitely a lot going back to work today after a week not having work. And then I also hope you had a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving if you are here in the States and you celebrated that. And I will talk to you down in the comment section below if you have anything you want to chat to me about, and I'll see you next time.